Hello and welcome everyone to this first final of the 2024 eSailing World Championship. So Princesa Sofia Regatta is the first challenge in this competition this year. We've had the first part of the fleets and of the race happening already. So what we're going to be seeing today is only the Gold Fleet, so the top 40 players. As a reminder, 80 players joined the first part in the qualifier series, and the top 40 will continue to the Gold Fleet. And this is how it goes. So they will keep their points from the qualifier series and will continue on from there. The format for the Gold Series is going to be a 5-race long final, with the 5th race being a medal race, so counting double, and only with the top 20 players. In terms of boat classes, we're going to start with the J70 first, following up with the Star, the Nacra, the ILCA, and then J70 again. And note that it'll be basically around 40 players for the first 4 races, and then the top 20 for the final race. And the winners of this final, the top 12, will go straight to the semi-final. So we're basically just waiting for players to join the arenas. We've had several protests and several regesses happening throughout the qualifier series, which is why the race started a bit later than expected, but we're back on track right now. The race is about to start. We've had some very consistent players so far, with Alex K leading the fleet with 15 points after 4 races of almost 30 players, followed closely by Schlegg with 22 points, and then by Hida 30 points. These are the top 30, so probably the players that we'll be looking for in this Gold Series. Famous names that we've seen several times already throughout the years of the eSailing World Championship. So just looking back at what's happening in the chat, we're still waiting for players to join, and the start procedure has been given. So let's hop right into it. So the Gold Fleet, race 1 in the J70. J70 probably one of the most appreciated boats in the game. Very easy to use. It's very tactical as well. It doesn't necessarily go as the fastest, and it's not the slowest to turn and to maneuver either. So it's a very good compromise of everything for the J70, which is why it is the most liked boats in the game. So yeah, as you can see, we have currently 39 players, so it looks like 3 players couldn't join in time. And this is how we're going to be doing this final. You're going to see a lot of familiar names, a lot of maybe new names that we don't necessarily see that often. And yeah, 10 seconds to start in the Gold Fleet for the first race of the eSailing World Championship 2024 Princesa Sofia Regatta final. With me today is Omer as well. Omer, how are you doing?
How's it going?
Hello there.
Right, he'll join when he'll be back. So everyone started with a starboard start. Looks like it. Well, most of it at the big bunch of the fleet on the right hand side of the course over here. A very compact fleet so far. We can see this line of J70s first, with the people who fell behind probably took a penalty at the start. Trying to get out of this wind shadow. With 40 players, there's going to be a lot of wind shadows. So wait till you see the Star race. So yeah. So I guess the tactic and the strategy here will probably be try to stay away from the wind shadows as much as possible, because with 40 players being wind shadowed by a lot of players, it's going to slow you down a lot. So you might want to stay away from there. We can see Acer actually over here. So he's our ex-champion, the 2023 eSailing World Championship winner. And currently 40th, so in last position with 71 points. So he has a lot to do if he wants to reach the top 12 players, the 12th being Luc with 43 points. So there is this big gap, but again, it's a big fleet, so anything can happen, and with the medal race for the top 20 counting double, it can truly reshuffle everything again. So yeah, as you can see, we can see a lot of familiar names. I'm just scrolling over Green 9 for here, for example. Green 9 was one of our finalists in the 2022 eSailing World Championship, I believe. So a player you'll regularly see at the top of the leaderboard, but we do have some more fresh names that we don't necessarily see that often in the race. I think I've seen some 767, the Ukrainian boat over here, as well as some Diogo. There we go, Diogo Pereira. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, from Spain, I think it is. No, from Portugal. And some Olympic champions as well. You can see Harder, who was in the Olympic Esports Series in 2023 as well. You'll see some Pepito as well, who's our Olympic champion. Cavan, who was also in the finals as well. So yeah, some very tight racing, but some very spaced out scores. So as I said, 15 for the first and 71 for the last. As they approach the first mark over here, SR767 and Alex K are in fairly good position. Alex looks like he's going to be the first one passing the mark, but actually takes a penalty from 767. But he should still be able to maintain his lead if he manages to stay clear from the other boats. Alex K just before. So Alex K has been doing this phenomenal series so far. 15 points in 4 races in a 30 boat final. It's an average of well, you do the maths for that, but like 5 points per race, less than that. So yeah, very strong performance from Alex K over here, the ex-champion, followed closely by Green 9, Luc, Charizard, the American WG25. Again, a new face that I personally haven't seen that much, so it's refreshing to see these new players coming in. I'd be interested actually in seeing those watching us right now. What are your thoughts on this final? Who are gonna be the top 12 at the moment? So you can go check the Sail Ranks page for this final. I'll link it in the chat over here. To have a look at the scores. So 12th place is with 43 points, tied between Luc and Velista 86. But 13 and everything is pretty close by. We have the... Let's actually look at the 20th. 20th is tied between Tommy Tamble and Harder with 53 points, but very close behind is going to be Amos, Pepito, Finn, FIV Rock, Nikosh with 53, 54, and 55 points, so very, very close. Great, so I'm with Omer tonight. Omer, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Right, looks like Omer is not here with us. Apparently. So you're lucky to have just me. Okay, the first downwind gate. A lot of boats, well, as expected, with almost 40 boats. Jose Goody, another Olympic finalist over here on 9th. Jose Godi, where is he in the global ranking? He's 15th, so he's still part of the top 20 to make it in the medal race. 15th with 47 points. And also still can make a shot to the top 12 to qualify directly for the semifinal.
Hello, Oscar. Can you hear me now?
Hey Omer, we can hear you perfectly. How are you doing?
Yes, perfect. Just had a technical issue. Sorry about that. I'm all good. Watching all these excited races now. I missed watching big fleets, and it's quite exciting.
It is.
A lot of top players in this fleet, a lot of superstars and newcomers as well.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually just saying that. We see some familiar faces with Alex K leading the fleet with 15 points, so a huge lead for him. Our
Yes.
ex-2023 eSailing World Championship champion.
Yeah, he did. He's doing a good job and proving again why he's one of the sailing world champions.
Exactly. But we also see some new faces that could potentially aim for the top 20 and then for the top 10. So we've seen a couple of them with 767 for example, currently leading the fleet, the Ukrainian boat that I personally haven't seen much in the finals, so it's good to see some new faces.
Yes, same goes for me. But from now on, I'll keep an eye on this player when I'm on the virtual seas.
So you've actually met him several times.
He's actually ranked 28th in the qualifiers, but now he's going a good job.
Yeah, exactly. 28th, tied with Mournier and Pablo Baez with 59 points. The top 20 being 54 points, so they can still make it to the medal race. And then with the medal race times 2, the scores are going to shuffle a lot for these. So could potentially aim for the top 12 as well.
Yeah.
I've also like to mention, so during the qualifier series, we actually had a female sailor that we don't see that much female sailors in the finals, unfortunately, but we actually seen one today during the qualifier series with SGR 88, who had a good battle, and he is the current, I believe, current champion for this during the course finals. So leading the female competition.
Insight. I did not know it.
And unfortunately, I don't think I've seen her in the top 40, but that's just to say that the female level has also increased a lot, and hopefully we're going to be seeing more of them in these finals.
Yeah. So we're in the last downwind. 767 still leading the race, but he isn't just too safe yet.
Yeah, with a 70-meter lead. Depending on the shifts and what his decision is, keeping this tack, or if he's gonna jibe or stay or not.
Yes.
Maybe Alex K and Acer can catch them up, but does not look like it. Looks like Acer is gonna push Alex K away.
Yeah, he's going away to the finish line, and we see a battle for the second and third place between Acer and Alex K, two Frenchies. And now it's working for Harder from Brazil, who's catching up with them.
Exactly. So let's
he'll have
quickly talk about these players.
Position.
Alex K, as we said, our ex-champion. Acer is our current world champion for the eSailing World Championship, and also the. No, he did not win actually the French nationals. That was Pepito. But we have two world champions in second and third, and then we have Harder, who's our Olympic finalist as well for the OES 2023. So a very strong lead over here, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We also knew him by his name, Samuel Solano. So hi to Samuel from here.
Exactly. Well, we can see in the rankings that there are people from all around the world. We have Ukrainians, Brazilians, French, Italians.
Actually, I just realized that our top 10 is quite international.
Exactly.
We have players from all around the world, Spanish people from Greece, Green9, our famous Greek player. British players.
So if you're watching us, let us know from where you are and who are you supporting in this final. Who would you like to see in the top 12 that would go directly to the semifinal at the end of the year? And that looks like the end of the first race.
So it's a win for 767.
And Alex K still continuing this insane streak that he's been having.
Yes. So it's not about only being in the first place, but it's about consistency. So he's been in the top 5, top 10 spots since the beginning. So he's in a good place right now.
Absolutely. So just taking a look at the scores over here, so we'll have to see how this shuffles the ranking once the scores have been updated. So do give us a couple of minutes with 40 players. It's going to take longer than usual to update the scores, so bear with us. We'll be doing that as quickly as we can. Looks like we did have some disconnects with Wimwi and Nikosh. Unfortunately for them. Cool. So bear with us. We'll just be updating the scores and we'll be right back. Alex Day still continuing the strong performance, 17 points, still leading, arriving second over here. Followed by Schlegg still. So not much movement in the top 20. As expected after one race. Some very good performances from some boats, a bit less from others. But we're going to head over to the Star right now. And so the Star is a slower boat with a very nasty wind shadow. So if you're stuck into that wind shadow, you're going to be slowed down a lot. And with 40 boats on the water, you really want to just, well, that would be my strategy. You want to stay clear and find some clean air where you can, and avoid as much as possible any other boats, just to limit that wind shadow that you're going to receive from everyone else. So we'll see how the players do. I know the Star is your favorite boat, Omer.
Yes, it is, but it's not because it's easy. It's just too fun, especially in the downwind. As we saw it in the qualifiers, there was a huge block of wind shadows in the downwind. So I think it's gonna be the same, especially with a fleet of superstars here. It's not going to be easy to escape those wind shadows. So we'll see how it will turn out.
Exactly. Maybe leading at the start is not the best strategy. Maybe you want to hold back a bit, just to avoid the wind shadows at the start, and then catch up on the downwind, because the downwind is going to see a lot of reshuffling of the fleet. I think. Well, we've seen it with the Nations Cup. Usually, the Star battle, that was the 2v2 during the Nations Cup in last year. The results were decided on that last third of that last downwind. So let's see if it's also the same thing, because it's 40 times the number of players and over here compared to the Nations Cup. But we might see something similar with the great reshuffle of fleets during the downwind, some nice battles, and probably some people who are gonna maybe a bit of drama as well.
And here we go.
As you should.
We've started the start procedure. In 1 minute, the players will cross the start line.
Do you know of any exceptional Star players that you think are gonna pop off?
I know the Giller isn't too bad. I've heard about him.
Fortunately, I don't think the Giller has made it in the top 80 of the Princesa Sofia Regatta.
Oh, okay. Under the belt. Okay, so let's see. So they will wish to advance as much as they can during the upwind, so that they'll have a good gap with the rest of the fleet during the downwind to avoid all the wind shadows. But it's not an easy thing to do with a fleet, with a fleet of top eSailors. So looking forward to see it.
Yeah, we'll quickly see the different strategies of the different players.
Yeah.
Will they play aggressively, or will they try to avoid everyone else? We'll see how it goes. But already some boats caught in the wind shadow. Jacobo Garcia aim
Yeah. I love how
might
the
have
fleet looks right after the start. They just like they're lined up here with
yeah.
all the colors, players from all the nations, and it's just beautiful to see it.
I absolutely agree with you.
Okay, so what would be your strategy in this large race course? Because it's a huge start line as well.
It is. I think
So
I would just, I would just sail my race. I wouldn't bother too much about the other players. My aim would be just to get some clean air, and not worry too much about I need to catch up this player. I need to try to attack this player or not. As you
yeah,
said, I think for these kind of races, consistency is the key. Scoring first on one race and then ending up 30th is not going to be that helpful. Whereas you can maintain yourself
exactly.
in the top 10 for each race, you're probably better off that way.
I 100% agree with you. So now we just had a big right shift coming in, and then I think we'll have a big left shift.
Yep.
So
Left
it's
shift
gonna
is
be
coming in,
interesting
and
to
there we go. There
see.
we have it.
I would say Asser is in the best position. He's in the middle of the fleet. He's trying to control both sides. Jose is also in a good spot.
Yep. Seo and Jose looks like they're comfortably where they are.
Yes, but Asser will be probably blocked by Jose Cody, but Jose Cody, he's like, Asser is lucky, so he just tagged a bit early. He didn't push him until the lay line.
Yeah, and I think it's too risky in this type of fleet. Playing aggressively can come
Yeah,
to a great cost.
you'll just lose place and time. So, and then they'll catch up to you with your wind shadow. So you can just get to the behind of the fleet quite quickly. And that's
Yep.
not really something you want in the gold fleet.
So I just also want to mention, so with 40 players, the size of the course has been increased. So where you would usually sail the Star on the upwind small on Virtual Regatta Inshore, they're now sailing on the upwind medium, just to
Yes.
give more space to the whole fleet. As you can see, the first mark is still pretty cramped up, as they all.
Okay. Oh man.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought Acer was gonna
Acers
be able
tried to
to.
sneak in. I
Yeah,
thought he managed
I think
in
he
the
touched the
beginning,
mark
but
at the
then
31.
he got his penalty.
And
So
Jose Goody
it's
gets a few meters in, but that's not going to be enough to escape the wind shadow from
yeah.
VT for real a sail
Yes, but
or
it might
cabin.
just be enough actually because in the back, like in the top 10, it's quite crowded and the boats are quite close, so they will start fighting with each other and blocking each other. So Jose Cody just might get away
We'll see.
with 30 meters of lead. And what he's doing, he's avoiding the zone with the pressure, with the wind pressure now, because he knows that the majority of the fleet will go there to be as much as fast.
Yeah, absolutely. He continued to sail towards the right of the screen over here. Oriella decided to go straight to the gates and is being caught up by the boats behind him. Though the boats behind them are also being slowed down by the boats behind these boats. So
Yeah.
a train of wind shadows over here. Meaning that most boats are actually probably going to sail
Yeah.
at the same speed.
What I'm
Uh,
doing is actually I'm just when I race with the starboard in the downwind, I try to sail with the bird's eye view. So that is the best way you can see where the you can find the spots without the wind shadows. And if you could just look at that, Jose Cody seems to find that perfect spot now. So
yep,
he's trying to be affected from the wind blocks as least as possible. And I think he managed it, and he'll go to the second upwind course in the first place, which is a big
absolutely.
advantage for him.
With the gates probably with an advantage on the right gate,
Yeah.
the right mark. And I actually have some exciting news with Roxy Joni, who just subscribed with Prime to the Virtual Regatta channel, so our actually first sub on the channel.
Wow.
Thank you, Roxy Joni.
Hey.
Nice to see you here.
Hello, Johnny. I hope you're good. Let us know how you are, and where are you joining us from.
So yeah, the top 5 haven't changed that much. Jose Koji, Rela, Asa still leading the fleet. They managed to keep their position at the top of the fleet over here.
Yes. What do we have here? Yeah.
Love the 40 boat fleets, says Roxy. I agree. It's a nice change to what we're usually used to, which is around 20 boats for a regular channel challenges and finals, and for the bigger finals actually only 10 boats. So we mixed it up a bit this season with some feedback from the community, and we've decided to go with 40 boat
Actually,
finals.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Roxy Johnny in the qualifiers for this event.
I'm sure
He's
he'll get to
normally
it.
up there.
He'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
But 40 boat fleets are going to come back actually. We're going to launch the votes to vote the boats for the next 40 fleet regatta on the first weekend of
Yes, actually we'll be launching the
April.
vote tomorrow, so stay
Exactly.
tuned and follow our social media channels. We'll be communicating the vote link from there.
Exactly. So you'll get to vote the boat you want to sail in for the next 40 fleet open regatta. Fortunately, no time to series for Roxy Joni. Well, it happens. You still have five challenges. I actually haven't talked about the format of this year's competition. So it's 6 challenges throughout the year, 1 challenge per month. The challenge is going to last a bit less than a week, 6 days. Where if we continue with the same format, well, it's going to be 48 hours of 3 different boats for each of the challenges, with the top 80 qualifying for that challenge final. And well, this is an example of a challenge final. We'll do the 2 fleets of 40 during the qualifying series, and then a top 40 will go to the goal fleet, which is the fleet that we're watching at the moment. And from that goal fleet, we take the top 20 for the medal race, the last race, and the 12 of these 20 will go to the semifinal at the end of the year. So the semifinal will be 6x 12 players from the challenges, and then we also have 8 wildcards that are going to join the semifinal. Semifinal then qualifies 10 players to the grand final, and a possibility of also 2 more wildcards for the grand final, depending on various factors. But we'll be looking at exceptional players throughout the season, whether they've scored consistently in the top positions, but didn't necessarily qualify, or some other competitions that aren't necessarily linked to the eSailing World Championship. Maybe they deserve also a spot. So we'll see how the wildcards will go.
Yeah,
But it will be based on eSailing results.
Just jumping in, sorry, Oscar. We're 400 meters away from the finish, and actually Jose Godi lost his advantage.
Exactly.
CNS,
Jose Godi is now neck and neck with
the
Oriola.
Spanish e-sailors right behind him, but is surprisingly not attacking Jose Godi. Maybe he's just waiting the last 100 meters, but it will be too short to catch up on him. So we'll see. And Acer is not helping Oriola with the wind shadow.
Do you think he has him in the wind shadow? 6.87 knots for Acer, 6.9 for Oriola.
So I think we'll
Oriola is
see
at
a
the limit.
collision.
But we're probably going to see a nice duel between these two over here.
Yeah.
Between Jose Godi and Oriola. And Oriola putting the penalty on Jose Godi. Will that be enough to go in front? I think it is.
Wow, well done, Oriola. Well played. I was actually, I'm actually surprised that he got him. It was quite close. Okay, well done.
Let's look at... so Oriola is actually currently 11th in the overall ranking with 56 points, and Jose Godi is ninth with 56 points. So they're actually tied in points. So they're still neck and neck in the battle for each race, not just in the global competition. And both of them are in the top 12. So both of them will, if they continue like this, both of them will continue to the semifinals.
That is going
And
to
where
be
is Alex
close.
K? Is it finally as he placed 13th, which is still a very respectable position in a 40, almost 40 fleet boat, 40 boat fleet.
Yes. And he has here with the second player, he just like in the ranking now, he has a quite gap. He has a 22 points of gap with the second player, which is quite a lot for the top 3.
Yep. So just as before, we'll be entering the scores, so might take a bit longer than what you're used to. Do bear with us. You can check the ranking as
And
as
while
we go
you're
here.
waiting, please let us know in the comments what boats would you like to see in the vote tomorrow for our Vote the Boat event, which will take place next week. See you all in a bit.
Absolutely. Just to mention, the boats that we've raced so far in the 40 fleets were the J70 was the first one. I think we did some Offshore Racer, we did some Far East, and we did some ILCA, I believe.
Yes, correct. We did F50 as well in the votes.
Did we do 40 F50? I don't think we did.
No, it was just in the votes. We didn't do it finally. It wasn't selected, surprisingly. Personally, I'd love to see a fleet of 40 players fleet of F50. Should be interesting.
Roxy says Optimist. Optimist will come one day to Virtua Regatta. I'll make sure of that. So, yeah, bear with us.
Just
We'll be right
stay
back,
tuned.
just entering the scores. In the meantime, enjoy this nice music. And we are back. So this is the ranking as it is after race 2 of the Gold Fleet, with the star Alex K still leading with 30 points. Schlegg still behind him, and Cabin Fine still on third. A bit of reshuffling over here, but so far Alex K is maintaining his lead and his series of exceptional racing, as you would expect from someone from like him. So currently waiting for the players to join the race 3 for the Gold Fleet. So race 3 is going to be in the Nacra 17. Nacra 17, which is a very fast boat. It's the Olympic boat. That likes its wind. And we'll be racing this on the AC75 match race course. So there's going to be boundaries. So this is going to keep the fleet together. It's going to be some intense battles. Nacra 17 is also a boat that can foil with enough wind and speed. And I think it's actually one of the boats I prefer. I tend to prefer fast boats, but maybe not for you, Emil. I think you prefer more tactical, slower boats.
Yeah, you're exactly correct. When it's too when the boat is too fast, I think I cannot make fast decisions, and I just make mistakes all the time. I need my time to think about my strategies.
I can see that. So, waiting for all the players to join or to tell us that they are struggling to join. If they are struggling to join, we'll be starting at any moment right now.
Yeah, and here we go.
Right, 1 minute and 5 seconds until the start signal, or until they can cross the starting line. So there's going to be a cutoff time at 10 p.m. CET or 9 p.m. UTC, meaning that we're likely going to cut one of the races in the Gold Fleet, either the medal race or race 4. That's going to be up to the OA and the protest committee and all the people in charge to decide. We'll see what they say. If we cut the race 4, it's going to be we'll be cutting the ILCA race, and if we cut the medal race, we'll be cutting another J70 race. But J70 on double points, so can really reshuffle things. We'll see how it goes. At the moment, Nacra 17, a fast boat on a long course with 10 seconds to go. Thing to note that so the counter penalty start system is active on every challenge in Virtual Regatta at the moment. We have a late starter with early start 86, crossing the start line almost 5 seconds after. And looks like we have the fleet dividing into 2.
Yeah,
Some going for the pressure on the left, others staying clear on the right.
I would go to the pressure on the left-hand side.
I think so too. Nacra likes
the wind socket
its
shows more advantage there as well. But as normally players aren't used to race in these big race courses with this Nacra boat, they're not also used to the shifts, big shifts coming in. So things can change quite quickly. So maybe you should stay in the middle of the race course and have the control of both sides. Because as you can see, in a few moments we'll just see a big right-hand shift. And maybe that's why most half of the fleet prefer the right-hand side of the race course and not the pressured zone.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Okay,
we
well,
have
spreading
ECG
out.
777 who's leading the fleet. He's in the starboard tack, and I would say he has an easy lead.
We actually have a change over here. So if ESG77 and Mournier, I think I saw him in first at the moment as well,
Yes.
lead the fleets, these people are more towards the back of the global ranking at the moment. With so ESG with 109 points and Mournier with 114 points, compared to well, I'm not going to compare it to Alex K again, to Kazuki, who is 14th with 81 points. So like a 30 plus point difference between both.
Yeah, just let me
Go
check.
BSP, says Darkrum BSP. So I'm assuming BSP is from Virtual Regatta Offshore, so this is the other game from Virtual Regatta. If you like offshore courses, you can go and check it out. And BSP is one of the top teams, I believe, in there. Well, now you probably know better than me.
Yeah, by the way, about offshore, yeah, well, you mentioned it. Next week will be the inaugural Nations Cup of the Virtual Regatta Offshore.
Exactly,
So
Nations
I'm
Cup.
quite excited for it
Nations
as
Cup
well.
on offshore is going to happen this year, and hopefully very soon as well. So yeah, so judging by Darkrum's comment, I believe Acer and Pepito are probably in BSP team on offshore. Pepito, who's the current national French champion on Inshore,
Okay.
who won the championship this January.
Yeah, he's coming in good there, and he just didn't get the penalty from ESG, and he's the first eSailer to go to downwind in this race course.
Yeah. Who also joined a esport team fairly recently, ATL, as you see in front of his name, his boat name. So it looks like the head of the fleet has taken quite a bit of a head start compared to the back.
So, and catching up is quite hard in these boats because they're fast, and the wind shadows, as you can see, they're not vertical and they're horizontal. So if you have a boat in front of you, you cannot just catch up, and you need to be side to side to slow him down, slow him or her down.
Exactly, that's a totally different strategy compared to the Star with these fast boats. So what's going to help you the most is being lucky with the wind shifts or being able to read these shifts correctly to try to catch up bit by bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and you need to be quite close because the wind shadow is much smaller than stars.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I would say Pepito is in a good spot now. Which mark do you think he'll run at the gate? Yeah, seems like he'll go
Looks
for the
like
left.
he's going on the left one.
Okay, actually, ECG's coming quite good. And, wow.
ESG just went in front of Pepito, and I think Pepito just took a penalty from,
Yes,
I'm
he
not sure
took a
what.
penalty. He took a penalty from Japan 985. He catched up as well.
Well,
Wow.
let's talk a bit about the Japanese, by the way. So they've been growing in level since the beginning. We say that every year, where we see the progress the Japanese community makes in terms of skills and whether it's team
We've
racing
started
or fleet
seeing
racing.
more and more Japanese players in the top fleets, in the gold fleets, and in all the events.
Yeah, and well, if we compare it to the 2023 sailing World Championship, we had 3 Japanese in the grand final, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, 3 Japanese players.
Out of 11 players, so almost a fourth of the players were from Japan in the grand final. So Pepito kind of looks alone on his side over here. Everyone going on the right over there.
Yeah.
Is there a big difference in speed? So
he's
40.
waiting for a big left-hand shift, because as the race course is quite big, he has time to wait for that shift. Normally,
There's no
that's
speed
not the
difference
case.
between ESG and Pepito, both with 14.2 knots.
Yeah, and that is what's happening as you see the mini wind sockets are just moving towards right, which means we have a left shift coming in.
Yep.
So it's not always the pressure you want to follow. You need to also check these sockets to understand the weather and define your strategies. And it seems like it's worked quite well for Pepito. He's coming in, but he has a starboard advantage, so okay. Oh, it's quite close. Ah! He's penalized there. He just didn't give himself enough space before tacking. So it should be a relief for ESG 777.
Yeah, I think we might be jinxing Pepito over here. Let's
Yeah.
go back to ESG 777.
Commentator's jinx is back. Commentator's curse, sorry. Yeah, as you see, he's foiling now, which makes him go much faster. I wouldn't go to the left-hand side. I would have choose on the right-hand side.
I think he's trying to catch this wind pressure. There's going to be pressure coming in from the left-hand side, as you say.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad choice. Looks like everyone else is following him as well.
Yes, correct. Maybe that's why I'm not probably in the top 80 and I'm just commentating.
Yeah, I think ESG has got it in the bag for this race.
Okay, and Pepito fall back into the fed position. Maybe because of us. We're sorry, Pepito, if we jinxed you. Okay. And I think we have a winner for the third.
Yeah, likely going to be ESG first, and then it's going to be tight between Von Pigeon, Japan, and Muimui. And maybe Asa as well. It's 100 meters to go to the finish line.
We're just there, and Yeah, ASG is the winner of this race. Japan 985 second and 1 pigeon in the 3rd place. Okay, and Pepito finally finished in 7th place.
And there we have it. That was
Let
Nacra
us
17, race 3. So
Yeah, and let
enjoy the
us know what
scoreboard.
would your strategies be in this race course with this fleet and with
For
this
the
weather.
Nacra?
Yeah,
What will my strategy be? I'm actually not sure. I think that's probably not why you don't see me either in the top 8 is I don't think I go necessarily with a strategy for
yeah.
fast boats since they're
But
fast.
the players who are watching us at the moment, they can just write it in the comments. Because I would
Absolutely.
love to see what are their opinions.
Well, we've asked this during the Nations Cup for the Star, and we've seen a pretty 50-50 splits between preferring to chase and preferring to be chased.
Yeah.
But that was for the Star, which is not the Nacra at all. Polar opposites.
Okay.
Right, so we'll be right back. We'll be
just
entering the scores for race 3.
Yeah.
And see you in a Right, so there you have it. The scoreboard still 1-2-3 with Alex, Cavan, and Schlegg. As race 4 has just started with the ILCA.
Yes.
ILCA, another Olympic class.
Favorite boat.
Yeah, that we've seen a couple of times throughout different competitions. Obviously during the OES, but also during, well, I think every final ever. Very strategic boat, very maneuverable boat. Again, the downwind is probably where most of it is going to play. As it can be slow on upwind but faster on downwind. So depending on the wind, you can actually avoid the wind shadows if there's enough wind if you reach the mark first.
Yeah, right. As you said, the wind shadow is quite short. So you just need to stay close with the boats in front of you.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's have a look at the results.
5 seconds to go.
case. Yeah. And we are off. Okay. So Alex K is still in the first spot with a 20 points gap with the second players, who is Kevin Fans.
61
he
points,
was also
yep.
in the finals in the Olympic Esports Series in Singapore. He's one of the best in the game. And in the third place, we see Schlegg, the American player. We always see him in the top, but I think he's never been in the top 3 in a final like this, if I'm not wrong. So kudos to him.
Yeah, we've seen him several times, and unfortunately, I think it was mostly some timing issues with the finals. So most of the player base being European, I think most of the finals he was not able to compete. But definitely a very strong player that we regularly see at the top of the rankings.
Yeah.
And that we're very happy to see in this final, and hopefully he'll be able to see to stay in the top 12 and in the top 3 for him with 69 points, third, with an 8-point difference with the second Cavan and a 9-point difference with Harder, the Brazilian, and at 78 points.
Yeah.
I think that'll be the first time I'll see an American in the semifinals if he does continue on like this.
I think it is it's safe to say that he's the top player in the States. He's been in this game for too long, and he just knows it.
You're probably right on that, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen Charizard for some moment now in the leading fleet, in the leading group of the fleet. Do you know Jacobo Garcia, Oscar? This is the first time I'm seeing this player as well.
I don't think I've ever seen him in a final. I think I did see him several times in summer rankings. But I think it's the first time I see him in the final. Yeah, so this is one of the newer names that we don't necessarily see that often.
New generation youngsters coming in, get the top spots.
Yep. That's good to see. I actually don't know where he scored in the Princesa Sofia Regatta. Jacobo. Well, he's obviously in the top 100, but where in the top 100?
Seems like Hide is back on top again. He
Did that
actually,
we've
when
seen a lot before, but we don't necessarily see him a lot recently.
actually, when you look at his results, he's in the 5th place in the general ranking. But his results are 28, 10, 10. And as you can see, it's not about getting the best results, but just consistency.
Exactly. Right, so Jacobo was actually number 18th in the overall Princesa Sofia Regatta.
Okay, it's really good. That's a good spot. Okay, I don't want to jinx it, but it seems like we have a winner, but of course we have another upwin if he just follows a good strategy and protects his place
Yeah,
and
looks like
defends
Nikosh
well
and
his
Ozil are
position.
1 and 2.
Yeah. Finally, we are seeing some Japanese player in the top 3. They
Yep,
didn't have the
so if
best
we
of
look at
luck in
the
this
current,
evening.
if we look at the current global ranking for this goal slate, Japanese player, the first one is Kazuki on 16th with 101 points. But very close to 15th, 14th, and up to 9th. There's less than 10 points difference between all of them. Right, first gate. At the bottom, looks like a lot of penalties are being handed out. All 18s. For Hide against Schleg and Furan, Swede. And Nikosh looks still comfortable in first place over here.
Yeah. I think as soon as he stays close to Ozil, the second Japanese player, he's in a good spot to finish and win the race.
Yep, they just need to keep it up. Now let's quickly have a look at the top 20 right now. 20th is Fuchifia with 112 points. Closely followed by Japan 985, Nozets, Mwimwi, and Pildo with 114, 115, and 119. And in the top 12, 12th is Pepito, tied with AIM with 96 points.
Let's see where he is at. Yeah.
So Pepito is currently 22nd, and AIM is... I think I must have missed him. 16th. as Nikosh and Kazuki are, sorry, not Nikosh and Ozul are approaching this top mark, second mark, but Kazuki is not going to be able to pass Ozul, I don't think.
Yeah. Let's see, two Japanese players will get close, but will they race each other or will they just sail smoothly towards the finish line?
Well, if they penalize each other, the boats behind are going to catch up, and that might be disastrous for the score.
Yeah. He sped it really fast, so I think he'll be in the safe. He's okay.
So Nikosh is
Okay,
safe,
let's
he's
go.
got the guarantee in
Yeah.
fourth. Is Ozul in Kazuki's wind shadow? I don't think so. He's still accelerating. No, he's out of it. So if Ozul still maintains his strategy here and his pace, he's gonna finish second and Kazuki close behind him third. What's happening behind over here? Schlegg fell back to 16th. Next to Cavan. So we have number 2 and number 3 over here in 15th and 16th place. And it will look like... we'll actually wait for the official notices. Nikosh crossed the finish line with 8 minutes 57 on this upwind medium with the ILCA, with an average of 80 knots for the wind strength. Ozul and Kazuki second and third as expected. Hosekodi fourth.
Congrats, Nikosh. It was a comfortable race for him. He was leading the fleet all race long, and it's not an easy thing to do with all these players.
He knew how to stay out of trouble and just sail fast, sail true.
Yeah. So ILCA is in the 5th spot, so which is quite good for him.
As we see ESG and Pepito fighting over here, with ESG taking the penalty from Pepito. Japan 985 trying to cruise past them. Looks like he might make it if he stays away from the wind shadows. And there we have it. So looks like we will not be racing the medal race as we've reached the cutoff time at 9 p.m. UTC. So the final score after this, well, the score after this race is going to be final pending protests. I believe there are a few protests that have been logged in. So we'll see very soon who are the top 12 to make it to the semifinal after this this first, well, challenge final, this first final that will of the eSailing 2024 eSailing World Championship with the Princesa Sofia Regatta. Yeah, our first 12 semi-finalists after the scores for this race have been counted. Any upsets you think have happened? Well, man, I'm thinking, for example, Acer, who's actually currently before this race 6th, so he's still in it. So he made a huge jump. He was 40th before the goal fleet started, and he's now 6th before the results of race 4.
Yeah, correct. He's 6th. He's right behind Hide, and he has only a 5-point gap. So let's see where this takes us.
Like he did quite a comeback to stay in the competition. Alright, so we're gonna leave you to this gentle music again while we enter the scores, and we'll be right back once the protests and the scores have been validated by the OA and the protest committee and the different judges. and see you in just we've double checked all the scorings, and the protest committee has decided to award a redress for Oriella for his race number 3, which is the average score of all the races raced in the Gold Fleet. So 13.6 for him. So the score as you see it at the moment is the final score. Gold Room Tunes there. I don't know about that.
By the way,
just
just a quick thing.
Yeah,
if you're new to sailing, the protests are quite like are a big part of the sport, because these things happen on the real seas as well. In real sailing, if you have a protest, you have to see it with the committee, protest committee after the race on the shore, and it can take a long time. Real sailors will probably know it. You would just wait hours and hours to have the results, so it can happen in the sport. And again, thank you for your patience. And yeah,
you're absolutely
Just wanted
correct.
to-
If you want to make this right, well, we have the protest committee, and protests can take a long time, as you probably know in real life. But we have it. This is the final score. First Alex, second Kevin, third Schleg, fourth Harder, fifth Jose Koji, sixth Oriella, seventh Green 9, eighth Hida, ninth Kazuki, 10 FIV Rock, 11th Stefan Gelza, and 12th Acer. These are 12 semi-finalists, so the 12 players who have qualified for the semi-final happening in September, I believe. To be confirmed if you look at the notice of race on the World Sailing Discord or on their website. This has been Oscar with Omer, your hosts, and I hope you enjoy the stream, and we'll see you next time for the next challenge final happening next month.
Yes, and that is a wrap for tonight's races and event. Thank you everyone for joining us on this exciting event from around the world. And yeah, see you on the next event.